welcome back to Dun 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 Jash Reads. I know it's been a while, so two things to start off with. One is my original plan was to only do Jash Reads after I finished writing a chapter of one of my books. This would have, gone smoothly if, life didn't happen. But yeah, such as the fact that this has been pushed back by, luckily, only a day. I was like, oh, I had a perfect plan for this week. Everything just ruined. Sorry. And two, you might have noticed that this Tobias does not look like the Tobias we made. The reason for that is I haven't played Minecraft in forever, and Minecraft needs to be updated, and I guess one of the updates just, the character we created was just gone. Like, it was reverted back to Rachel. So here's Tobias now. Yay! God, it is. Okay, just relearning these controls. Ta-da! So yeah, the week's been not too bad. Not as okay. That's not jump. I don't need to destroy him, but not too hectic, luckily enough. But just want to say something to the people who are thinking of getting into Animorphs because J.K. Rowling is not a good person. Put it very shortly, Holocaust denier, turf, the whole... She decided to achieve something and it was something horrible, apparently. But yeah, so I just want to go over two of the main differences between Harry Potter and Animorphs. And this is not to say you're a bad person for liking one and being, a saint if you like the other. Oh God, am I making that taller than? Oh, I guess so. The first is that Harry Potter is very much one of the classic chosen one stories, good guys are good, bad guys are bad, and it's very easy to tell between the two. Animorphs is not like that. You start off with going, oh, the Yeerks are definitely the bad guys, and the Andalites are totally the good guys. All hail the mighty Andalites. And by the end of the series, that is proven to be false. It's not clear-cut like that, and even our heroes do bad things. Let's see. God, I had a second point. I had this fake conversation with myself to practice, and now I'm forgetting. Oh, yes. Yes. And Harry Potter... God. Was I combining the first and second points I had planned? I think that's what I did. 1.2, same thing. Let's see. Yeah, I forgot I think I combined both points. That's why you practice to ruin everything. So we are finally going to be beginning to read Animorphs number 13. Another book told by Tobias. And here's going to be a little change to help hopefully complete this Animorphs dramatic reading in my lifetime. To help make up for lost time, every time I do dramatic reading, I'm going to be reading 2 chapters and not just 1. So for those watching live on Twitch, this means you get a whole Animorphs day. Woo! For everyone watching on YouTube, you're just going to see an episode released over the course of 2 days. So, yeah. Okay. And I've taken some migraine medication, which of course means it makes me sleepy, even though its whole point is to make me functional during the day. But anyways, let's look at a good point. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, yeah. I went for a more beaten look and a little dinosaur for this. I spent that. The previous episode is pointless. Completely fucking pointless. So, hang on, let me sip some coffee and get prepared to read. Okay, get the book. Everything should go perfectly. I don't know when my husband's going to be returning from his little surgery. So that might make things chaotic. Just a warning. But anyways, here is Animorphs, number 13, The Change, by K.A. Applegate, chapter 1. My name is Tobias. The other Animorphs can't tell you very much about themselves, but I can. See, I don't have an address. I can't be found. I live in an area of forest by a meadow. That's my territory. My territory includes the meadow, which is maybe 100 yards across in one direction and half that in the other direction. My territory also includes the trees around the meadow, and the woods heading north for about another 100 yards. Of course, my territory is also the territory of other animals. Owls, jays, foxes, raccoons, on down to ants and spiders. But no red-tailed hawks. Except me. My name is Tobias, and I am human. Partially. Most of my mind is human. At least I think it is. I mean, I remember human things. I can read and use language. Most of my close friends are human. And I was born human. In a human body. With arms and legs and hair and a mouth. Now, though, I have wings and talons and feathers. And instead of a mouth, I have a hooked beak. I can make sounds with my beak, but nothing that sounds human. To speak with regular humans, I use thought speak. But there were no people nearby right then in the early morning, as I waited patiently in the branch of a dying elm tree. I kept my eyes focused sharply on the meadow. I knew the pathways and homes of the mice and rats and rabbits who lived there. And I knew what it meant when the tall, dry grass twitched just the smallest bit. With my hawk's eyes, I could see what no human could hope to see. I could see the individual stalks of grass barely tremble as a mouse brushed between them. And with my hawk's ears, I heard the faint sound of mouse teeth, chewing on a seed. The mouse was 70 or 80 feet away. An easy target. I opened my wings slowly, not wanting to make a sound. I released the grip of my talons on the branch and fell forward. My wings caught the cushion of air and I swooped, almost silent, toward my prey. The grass twitched. Through the grass I saw a flash of brown. The mouse was running. Too slowly. I raked my talons forward. I swept my wings forward to cancel my speed, dropped one wing to turn, and fell the last foot like a rock. It was all over very quickly. But this time, as I dragged the mouse away to a safer spot, I stumbled on a faded magazine someone had thrown away. The wind whipped the pages by, one at a time. Advertisements, graphs, pictures of the president with some foreign leader. And then one page stayed open. A photograph of a classroom. Kids my age. Some of the kids were goofing off in the back of the class. Some looked bored. Most looked more or less interested. And 3 were practically leaping from their seats, waving their hands for the teacher. All that frozen in a photograph. A classroom like any classroom, like the classrooms I used to attend. I would have been one of the kids paying attention, but too shy to volunteer. I was never very bold or aggressive. I was a bully magnet, to tell you the truth. The kid most likely to get pounded. The kid from the home so screwed up that I ended up being shuttled back and forth between aunts and uncles who didn't even remember my name half the time. But that isn't me anymore. And that's the lovely first chapter. All that hope. This chapter was honestly a little hard to practice for. Not just because I haven't, done this in a while, but also because just the change of emotions Tobias goes through, which I think perfectly encapsulates, his mindset of both loving his situation and hating it. He loves being a hawk, but he also really misses being human, even though, his life as a human wasn't exactly great. He was beat up and everything else. That last paragraph and last line, he's not that same person anymore in a very literal sense, not being a person anymore, outwardly. He should be happy to be free from that situation, but there's some longing for it. Because it's not like being a hawk is, full time is all that great. So yeah, it was hard, figuring out when he was going to switch from one emotion to the next. And I had to do it. At least my intent was to do that fluidly. So while it's jarring, it flows nicely, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's never answered in the series of whether Tobias intentionally trapped himself or if it was just an accident. And it's really my belief that he did trap himself to get away from his horrible home life. And it just, backfired. I mean, he is a teenager, and yeah, you make a bunch of dumb decisions when you're a teen, and then when you get older, you're like, oh, that was really dumb as shit. So let's see, the question for this video, for this chapter is, let's see, a good question. Okay, this is going to be as good a question as I think I can come up with at the moment. What do you think are the benefits of being trapped as a hawk? And do you think those would outweigh the benefits of being a human? Okay. Okay, now we're going to go with the links. Let me get that email up. But yeah, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, links are down in the description. If you're going on Twitch, links are down below. And if you're watching this on my blog, whenever I finally get it on my blog, it's, links are all over the place there. They're on the sidebar thingamajigs, except, yeah. So, I just realized. They're somewhere on my blog. You'll find that. Oh my god, that is the worst fucking shit I've said, I think. Worst piece of advice ever! Woo! Now, some of these links will be to Amazon, and those will be Amazon associate links, so not only will you be supporting, other people, but I'll also be gaining an extreme percentage of, the sales, so just be aware of that. Okay, now the first link is going to be, of course, a link to buy Animorphs number 13, The Change by K.A. Applegate. Not only is Animorphs my favorite book series ever, just reading this again is like, oh, I've missed the book so much. But also, just remember, this dramatic reading is really an adaptation of the book. So, when you read the books yourselves, you may get a little something different from them. So, I would highly recommend you read. Get your very own copy of Animorphs number 13. The next link will be to my Twitter account, where we can talk day and night about Animorphs. Again, this book series is my favorite ever, so I will not mind answering the odd questions, because there will be no odd questions. I love the series so much. I hardly need any excuse. But just be aware that while for my Jash Read series, I do no major spoilers. On Twitter, I'm not like that, so if you don't want certain spoilers, you're going to need to tell me that in your initial tweet, or I will probably end up spoiling things depending on the question you ask. Okay. See, the next link is to my Patreon. If you're wondering how you can help support, my dramatic readings, the books I'm releasing, every odd thing I'm doing on my blog, all my streams, yada yada yada, that is a good way to do that, to help show your support. I'm thinking on my Patreon of bringing back sneak peeks into more analytical blog posts. But I'm not going to put that down as one of the perks until it's something I'm doing regularly again. If you're wondering what we're doing here, we're making little improvements to this mansion. Okay, and the last link will be to my original book series, Kafka's Men. This is a reverse harem. Hang on, I'm saying things in the wrong order. Okay, it's a grimdark superhero reverse harem series. It's a slow burn, so everyone's not going to be all getting together by the first book or two. It's a slow burn. It's not always happy. I am currently writing the final chapter of the 7th book in the series. Yeah. And I like how sometimes, the characters can surprise you, because for some reason they started talking about Silent Hill, and I'm like, it makes sense in the chapter, but it was still like, that we're talking about it. They're like, this, okay. I mean, I like Silent Hill, so it's not really a bad thing for me, but then it's like, I need to give my time for characters to breathe, but then I don't want this to drag on for too long, too. Okay. Let's see. We have put up a bunch of the glass here. Wait. Okay, good. Some of the traders there. Yeah, I'm wondering that too. Okay. Making sure all the things they didn't go away. Okay, so we constructed, this is going to be a little aviary. Yeah, in honor of Tobias. Let's see. Oh, maybe we could do something here with an aviary, or maybe a garden or something. I don't know. Okay. So that is going to be it for this episode, Jash Reads. remember, if you're watching this live on Twitch, I'm just going to be taking a little break before working on the next episode. So, hang tight if you're watching this live on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll see you tomorrow. Woo! Okay. Thank you, good sir, for just walking right in front and making everything about yourself. So, until we meet again, goodbye.